Alright guys, just Saiyan here, back for another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And today we're going to be looking at the EZA STR Goku Black, who's coming out very soon on Global, alongside the Tech Vegito Blue, who we did do a showcase on yesterday, so it only makes sense we do this guy today. And I mean, yeah, there is a lot of talk about this guy not really being as good. We'll get into the more specific reasons why he might not be as good in a second. But before we get into his details, just make sure you guys like and subscribe. Keep in mind there are timestamps in the video, so if you want to skip straight to the showcase or the red zone test, absolutely feel free to do that. And yeah, I mean, without further ado, let's just get right into it. So starting off with his leader skill, it's Extreme Type Allies Key +4, HP Attack and Defense plus 140% when team includes all 5 Extreme types. So pretty much the opposite to what the Vegito Blue has. And then for his Super Attack effect, he greatly raises defense for 1 turn, causes immense damage to enemy, and then gives Extreme Class Allies 30% attack for 1 turn. So, I mean, the 50% defense is nice, for sure. I mean, that'll help you get to some pretty good numbers, especially if you get 2 super attacks. So I guess just by that alone, I do suggest you go full additional with this guy, just to really capitalize on that super attack effect. But the Extreme Class Allies 30% attack is pretty nice. I don't really know if you're going to be running this guy in slot 1. So, I mean, you're probably not going to give the whole rotation that 30% attack. But maybe if you have him in slot 2, you could give the unit in slot 3 30% attack, which, I mean, I guess that's nice. That'll help for sure. I mean, it's better than having nothing here, so I guess pretty good there. And then onto his passive, he gets attack and defense plus 150%. He gives Extreme Class Allies 3 key and 50% defense. That is really key. Regardless of how he's looking in general, that support is really nice. And that's honestly just going to make him good if you're just trying to make other units look good, right? So, I mean, that is still pretty good just in and of itself. And then he gets an additional 50% attack, or he gives an additional 50% attack for Realm of God category Extreme Class Allies. So, I mean, the attack is pretty nice. I think you are going to be running this guy on mostly a Realm of Gods team, or at least surrounded by other Goku Blacks and Zamasus who are all on Realm of Gods, and they are extreme, so they do fit that kind of condition right there. So, I mean, for sure, pretty good. 50% attack and defense and 3 key is really nice. So that is good there. And then he debuffs superclass enemies by 30% attack and defense. And then he gets an additional 50% attack and defense and attacks effective against all types for the rest of battle after delivering a finishing blow. So I think that's where most of the controversy comes around the unit. I'll say that. I don't really like that condition because you really have to make sure he gets the finishing blow for him to really even be like crazy good. I mean, I don't necessarily know how good he's going to be looking before he gets the finishing blow. We'll see in the video, but I mean, just looking from his stats, he only has 150% attack and defense, and that with the greatly raising defense for 1 turn, I don't really think that's going to get you crazy high defensively. But after you get the extra 50% attack and defense, you could start looking pretty good because then you start incorporating more numbers into his stats and everything. But overall, I don't really know how good he's going to be looking before this buff, and this buff is so difficult to get activated that it kind of might make it difficult just to run this unit and honestly just content in general. I mean, maybe in stuff like Super Battle Road, you don't really have to get this activated. But if you're running him in Extreme Super Battle Road or the Cell Max event or pretty much any red zone stage, you really are going to need that 50% attack and defense. And the fact that it's kind of restricted under a... I mean, I don't want to say this is really difficult, the delivering the final blow, because it's not necessarily like that bad. There are for sure worse restrictions in the game, but it's just not ideal. If they made this easier to just get, like, maybe you have to receive, I don't know, like 4 attacks. I was gonna say 3, but that's a little too easy. Or like 5, 6. I don't know, just something else. I'm just spitballing here. Just something else so it's like a little bit better. I don't know. I'm just not really a big fan of the condition, but we'll see how big of a difference it really makes. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it with his passive. And then moving on to his links, he has Super Saiyan, Big Bad Bosses, Dismal Future, Prepare for Battle, Nightmare, Fear and Faith, and Fierce Battle. For sure, some big ones stand out here, like Big Bad Bosses. I mean, Super Saiyan's pretty good. Prepare for Battle is pretty good. Fierce Battle, obviously, is really good. And even Nightmare and Fear and Faith are kind of good, considering, again, like I said earlier, you're going to be running them next to these Goku Black / Zamasu units. So, I mean, you're going to have those active most of the time. I mean, Super Saiyan, maybe a little bit less, but as long as you have him next to a Goku Black or something, you should be fine. Or a Rose Goku Black, I should say. So pretty solid when it comes to links. And then for categories, he has Realm of Gods, Patara, Future Saga, Time Travelers, Exploding Rage, Inhuman Deeds, Corroded Body and Mind, Accelerated Battle, Worldwide Chaos, and Power Beyond Super Saiyan. So you will notice this guy does not actually have a 200% leader skill. As you probably see in the thumbnail, I'm running him on Vegito's team, so the third year anniversary Vegito, because he is giving this guy a 180% leader skill buff with Potara. So, I mean, I don't know, though. His categories aren't necessarily great. I mean, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, you can't really run him because this guy is meant to be run with Extreme Class allies, and that is a Super Class dominated team. And then, yeah, the rest of these categories, they don't really have good leads. I mean, okay, Future Saga and Time Travelers are pretty much the teams they're going to be running them on. Let me just say that. And they do have a good 200% lead, right, with the Int, Vegeta, and Trunks. But they really need a good Extreme Class 200% lead. So we need, like, a half-corrupted Zamasu, who is a 200% for Future Saga, and then Time Travelers, and then the extra 30% is, like, Realm of Gods or something. That might be asking for too much, but I'm just saying, like, you know, for sure, stuff like that would just really help this guy out a lot because his teams are just a little bit weaker. A lot of these just don't have like 200% leads or just good like leaders to run with this guy. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it with this category. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent there. These are his stats right here. These are the stats we're going to be at because we do have him rainbowed link level 10 links. And yeah, I mean without further ado, I mean that's pretty much it with this guy. Let's go ahead and hop into the showcase to see what he's looking like. Alright guys, so we are here in the Legendary Vegeta event. We've got a pretty solid opening rotation for him right here, as we do have all 7 links active, and we also have 50% support from the merged Zamasu. And also, on his super attack effect, he raises Extreme Class Allies attack, so the Zamasu is just going to be looking really good right here. And then start of turn, we are at 255k defense. I don't really know how big of a fan I am of that, because after we get that 50% defense on super attack effect, right, because we're greatly raising defense, that is going to set us, what, like over a little over 350k-ish defense, which, I don't know. That's not really, like, crazy. I mean, we are doing other things. We are raising Extreme Class Allies attack by 30%. We are also debuffing the enemy, and we are also supporting. So, I guess there is a lot going on right here for sure, but I don't really know how big of a fan I am of just that defense. And you got to keep in mind, he's only at that level of defense after he super attacks. So, like, running this guy in slot 1 is, you just can't. You really just cannot. So, let's see what he's looking like right here. Maybe if we can get a really high number, that'll make me feel a little bit better about the defense. But, I don't know. Overall, I'm not really too impressed with him defensively right there. 5.76. That's not horrible. I mean, you got to keep in mind, we're lowering attack and defense. We, just from our passive, we're supporting. And then if it's a Realm of Gods Extreme Class category ally, we're giving them an extra 50% attack, and I think that's it actually, just 50% attack, but we are giving all Extreme Class allies that 50% defense and 3 key, which, I mean, that is really nice, I gotta say. But I don't know, I'm not overly impressed right there, but for sure that wasn't horrible. I would say just from the looks of it though, he's not anywhere near the best Easy ATUR. I just like to compare him to other Easy ATURs, right, because that's just a good way to judge these units. I would say he's for sure worse than STR Cooler, just from the look of it right here. I mean, maybe he'll get, like, a lot better after he gets the final blow, but for now, I will say he is for sure for sure worse than the STR Cooler. And I would say the Tech Vegito Blue is probably a little bit better than this guy as well, just because that Vegito Blue stacks up. And, I mean, units that stack, regardless of whether they're good turn 1 or not, they can get to some crazy numbers anyway just because they stack. It all really just depends how many turns you go with them and what event you bring them in. But with this Goku Black, it really looks like that this guy is kind of geared towards, like, I guess, not long events because he doesn't build up or anything, but he is, like, getting that 50% attack and defense when delivering the final blow. So I guess that might be kind of, like, geared towards long events, because in the earlier stages of the event, it's easy to kill the enemy, so you just kill the enemy really quickly, and then you have that 50% attack and defense, but I don't know, you kind of have to, like, go through hoops just to make sure you kill the enemy, which I really don't see as good or anything, because going through hoops just to get a unit fully built up can be very difficult, and then it can deter you from building up other units that are better, and then it just causes a whole problem. So anyway, though, sorry about that little tangent. We are here start of turn at 270k defense. We've got a little bit more support going on right here. And this isn't horrible because post super attack, we're going to be at, I think, around 400k defense. So that's not horrible. I mean, that's not necessarily good considering we're only at that level of defense after we super attack. But I mean, maybe if we can get like an additional right here, we would be probably well over 500k defense, or not probably, we would be well over 500k defense. I think actually we would almost be pushing 600k. So that's pretty good if we get the additional. Because if we get the additional, you got to keep in mind we're at that level of defense. We are lowering enemies' attack and defense. We're supporting, and of course we can just get better if we deliver the final blow, which we did get right here. So that is pretty nice. I think we were at a little under a 6 million attack stat right there, which is not really that impressive considering there's nothing else he's doing. Normally units that hit like a 6 million or 5 million attack stat, they're either having like crits in their passive, they're a defensive unit, so they're not really meant to do that much damage, or they got additionals going on, or just something. But for right now, this Goku Black had nothing right there. It was just a almost 6 million attack stat, just bare bone by itself. However, now that we have the final blow, you have to keep in mind we are super effective against all types, and we just got more attack and defense going on in our passive, so we could be looking a lot better right here. It all just depends how big of a difference the 50% attack and defense makes, and it is calculated separately, right? So I do think it's going to make a pretty big difference. I don't know if it's necessarily going to make it like to where he's like insanely busted now or anything, but I think it's going to be noticeable that maybe if you want to run him in like a type advantage red zone stage, he would actually be kind of good there. But it's just getting that final blow is going to be very difficult in some of the red zone stages. So, okay, okay. Keep in mind, we have 90% defensive support right here, but that's still pretty impressive. Because post-super attack, we're going to be well over 600k just off of the first super attack. If we get an additional after that, we're going to be over 800k defense. That's pretty good. That is actually really good. I got to say, that's kind of impressive. Okay, let's see what attacks that he's getting right here. If he can hit a pretty high number, I'd be pretty impressed because you got to keep in mind he is super effective against all types right here. So, whatever damage he's doing, it's more than it looks, right? So hopefully this Zamasu doesn't kill right here. Just hopefully we don't get a crit. Okay, he crit. Okay, well, we'll do one more rotation, see what he's looking like. And then we'll take him in, I guess, the Metal Cooler red zone stage, right? I mean, it's going to be kind of difficult to get the final blow right there. Actually, wait. I don't think we can get the final blow because it's only 2 phases, right? Well, whatever. I'll look at other red zone stages. We might take him in, like, Janimba or something. But we'll take him in a stage that hits pretty hard. And we'll see how well he can tank because I don't really know how good he's going to be defensively. I mean, even offensively, he's a little on the low end. But first, let me see what he's looking like when he has that 50% attack and defense. Because that last rotation, actually, that was pretty crazy. Because we could have gotten to 800k defense if we got an additional super right there. Which I would say that's viable. Actually, that's pretty good if he's type advantage in one of the hard-hitting stages. So, okay, well, right here, I just want to point this out before we show his defense. He's got even more defensive support right here. And we're still at 5 out of 7 lengths, so he is missing Prepare for Battle, which I think is just a little bit of defense, but it is what it is. Okay, so yeah, so 442k defense. So yeah, post super attack, we're going to be at 660k defense. And then if we get that additional, that's going to put us at, I think the 50% defense is from start of turn defense. So that would put him at like, what, 880k defense if we get the additional. But I'm going to stop talking about additionals because he doesn't have any built-in additionals, so I don't know why I'm mentioning it. It's just, it's nice to throw out there that he could be at 880k defense if he got the additional super, but I mean, again, that doesn't really count because he doesn't have any built-in additionals, so you kind of have to build him full additional, which after looking at this defense, I think that does kind of solidify what I was saying earlier of building this guy full additionals because, I mean, that 50% defense is making a big difference. So 7.6, that's pretty good because we are super effective against all types. So, I mean, yeah, 4.5 million damage. Nothing, like, overly impressive. But his defense level was pretty good right there. That I would argue that's really good, especially if you run him again in an event where he has type advantage. I think that'll probably do you pretty well, and you'd probably be able to survive, I mean, anything really, even super attacks. But yeah, we'll take him in a red zone stage. I don't really know which one yet, but we're going to cut to when we are there, and hopefully we can have him fully built up with delivering his final blow, because that might be kind of difficult to get active in some red zone stages. Alright guys, so we are here in the Janemba red zone stage, and we've got a pretty solid opening rotation right here, as we do have the 40% support from the Goku Black, and we do have 6 out of 7 links active, and we did actually have to bring the LR Goku Black and Zamasu, probably one of the best Easy A units in the game currently, just to help us out in this red zone stage. But yeah, we've got 6 out of 7 links active, so we are missing Super Saiyan right here, so keep in mind we could be looking a little bit better offensively if we had that active, but I mean, it's just, I think, a 15% attack buff, so not necessarily a crazy big deal. But yeah, start of turn, we're at 372k defense. Now, you'll notice a little bit of a drop-off, as I think last rotation in the Vegeta event, we were at like 400 and something K defense start of turn. You got to keep in mind we lost some support because you can't really run crazy support units in some of these more difficult stages. So this is more of a realistic kind of showing. I mean, we do still have the support from the AGL Goku Black, but he's pretty solid. I think you could get away with running him in some red zone stages, so for sure. I mean, I think this is a very realistic rotation. And yeah, 372k defense is pretty good. I don't know, 372k defense sucks start of turn, but considering he gets that 50% on super attack, that would shoot him at like 500k defense. So 500k defense around or about after he super attacks is pretty solid. He would for sure be able to tank some normals from the Janemba because he has type advantage. And I mean, maybe even a super attack. I don't really know. But we are going to nuke with him right here just because I like nuking with units. It's always fun to see how high of an attack stat they can get. And yeah, I mean, let's just see what he's looking like right here. You got to keep in mind, we do have him fully, I guess, built up. He does have that 50% attack and defense from his passive that he gets from delivering the final blow. And we didn't really get too lucky with Key Spheres, but we're also getting a Dokkan mode right here. So actually, this should look pretty good. I'm not going to touch this because I don't want to kill. I don't know if he's going to kill. Because yeah, we're at a 14 million attack stat. But I don't want to kill because I want to see if he can tank normals after this. But 14 million, super effective against all types, or super effective against all types. I said that kind of odd. Is pretty good. Yeah, 11 million damage, and we are tanking double digits. And then a 15.7 million attack stat from those guys. Okay. This isn't the showcase on the Goku Black and Zamasu, so I won't talk about it for too long. But that is a really, really high number to hit. That was higher than the Goku Black, I think. And the Goku Black had an item that artificially bumped him up. But, okay, anyway. Yeah, pretty good showing from the Goku Black. Defensively, again, we were around 500k defense. And we did look pretty good offensively right there. Of course, that was an artificially buffed rotation. But I still think that was pretty impressive. So, yeah, that has been the showcase. Let me know what you guys think of this guy down in the comments. Let me know if you think he's kind of mid or if you think he's still pretty viable. I think the main issue with this guy is that you really have to get that finishing blow for him to be good. And, I mean, getting that finishing blow could be kind of difficult in a lot of events, particularly the final phase of the Wicked Bloodline red zone, the Metal Cooler. I was actually thinking about bringing this guy in there, but then I realized that the first phase you can't kill, and then the second phase if you kill, you just win. So this guy wouldn't really work in there, so you can't really run him in there because he has to have that finishing blow to be good. So you just get destroyed if you didn't have that activated, even though he has type advantage. But just the fact that you can't run him in events like that because you have to get the finishing blow really sucks, because restricting a unit to having to have something in his passive built up to be ran kind of makes them to where you can't run them in as many of events, and that makes a unit less fun overall. So I think that's kind of the main struggle with this guy, but I don't know, that's just my opinion at the end of the day. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, that has been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if there's anyone else you want me to do a showcase on down in the comments, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.